afternoon and welcome to the Bundesliga show at the Hinrunde, as I like to call it, as the Germans call it, the halfway point of the Bundesliga season. It's English week and it's Gav, Mack, Devo London and Flo Wolfrum. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Weird one this time of day, but let's enjoy ourselves.
Flo, what shirt are you rocking today?
I wear a Maccabi Haifa shirt. I went to Israel when I was a student for a student exchange, and I really had a good time over there. But it was actually a time when there was not an immediate threat for fighting, so it was quite cozy, good weather. Enjoyed the Dead Sea, swimming on top of the sea. Enjoyed Haifa, Tel Aviv, great cities. I can only recommend Israel.
Nice, like it. I love the shirt. I love the green anyway. So. Big fan of that. It's a random show, as was Tuesday's show, because it is Bundesliga week, English week in the Bundesliga, meaning that the games are played during the week, which is unheard of in league format. So we have got a full roundup of fixtures that we would like to go through. Of course, you can subscribe to our channels at Top Football on YouTube, at TFB Dugout on YouTube as well for Devo and his boys over there for the Football Dugout. You can also follow us on all social media at Top Football. And if you put Two Up Top into Google, our name comes up first. Oh, well, now you do. Send your _lobber on if you want to have a look at what Flo gets up to on Instagram as well, because we don't want anyone to feel left out, do we? Hell no. Right then, let's talk about some obvious things that happen first of all. Wout Weghorst scoring goals. That is one of the most obvious things. I don't understand why I don't put this on every week and just be like, right, okay, Wout Weghorst to score at any time. But normally you would say, I'm going to put it on for him to score a header. And it wasn't a header. What a beautiful finish from him.
Yeah, wonderful finish. He's on great form. And it just makes you a little bit worried for Wolfsburg at the end of the season, because there's quite a few clubs that could do with a striker of his kind. So it makes you a bit worried, can they keep him? Because if he continues doing this throughout the rest of the season, there's going to be a lot of people knocking at the door for him. He's scoring goals aplenty at the moment. His confidence is sky high. The finish was just sublime. You wouldn't expect it from someone of his stature. As you said, usually it's headed goals or instinctive finishes. This was top quality. Also, the young lad Biliak, his finish was pretty good as well.
Not bad finish at all.
So yeah, two very good finishes and a good win for Wolfsburg. And I think Mainz have given up. I honestly think Mainz have given up. There's nothing about them that makes me. Yeah, there's nothing about them that makes me think that they still think they can stay up.
Well, they made another signing today, Mainz. I told Devo in advance to show that they signed Danny da Costa, who's playing currently at Frankfurt, or was playing at Frankfurt. And he had a bad time in the recent weeks, but don't forget, in the season two years ago, when they went to the European Semi-Cup final and lost against Chelsea on penalties, he was one of the most important players in their squad. He made more than 50 appearances, so quite a decent right back. And I guess he can help them, but it's too late for help. I agree with Devo. No one managed to come back from 7 points.
When you loan your top goal scorer, and I don't know how many goals Mainz have scored as a club this season, but I'm sure Mateta's got a large percentage of them. And he's gone out on loan to Crystal Palace, and I think it was only like 3 million loan fee, something silly like that. That, to me, is a sign of a club that's given up.
And also there's Baku as well, who we spoke about when we did our mid-season review, who left Mainz to go to Wolfsburg as well. So they're losing a lot of key players that would actually have some involvement into their potential survival. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good for them.
But to be honest, in summer, everyone was thinking, okay, 10 million for Baku, you have to sell him, because he was quite an unfulfilled promise. Or unfulfilled prophecy for Mainz. Was always gifted, but he wasn't able to deliver as consistent as he does in Wolfsburg now. But of course, a player like Baku would be very good for Mainz now.
Yeah, definitely. But so we're basically resigning Mainz to the drop. Wolfsburg, on the other hand, Will they get into the top 6?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, the Bundesliga, it's interesting because anyone can beat anyone, and sometimes smaller clubs can beat Bayern Munich. But take a look at the 18-19 season, 19-20 season. The top 6 were equally the same, but just differently sorted. So I'm pretty sure that the top 6 will be at least 5 clubs from last season. So I would say Bayern Munich, Leipzig, Leverkusen, Dortmund, Wolfsburg.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see if Gladbach can manage it, or maybe Union is a dark horse. I don't know.
Love it if Union made it.
I'd love that. But yeah, I
Proper
agree.
European tour.
I agree with you.
One team that might disagree with you a little bit is Frankfurt. And Frankfurt, they've gone on a bit of a run. They've gone sort of like beneath the radar quite a bit, haven't they? Because their last 5, they've picked up 13 points from a possible 15. And this game, if I'm honest, I had Frankfurt down to win this game. It finished Freiburg 2, Frankfurt 2. The goals, they came from Salai and Shock. Niels Peterson scoring off the bench. Whew, and that never happens. And then Younes, he's having an inspired run of form at the moment. 3 in his last 4 appearances for Frankfurt. This 2 in the league they scored so far. And it was Kamada's shot. I personally think, well, on first view anyway, I thought it was going in. But it's sort of been stopped and then bundled in by Schlotterbeck, his first ever own goal, poor bugger. But Frankfurt, they've got a bit of a shout in order to get into Europe, have they not?
Yeah, I think they do. And I think a lot relies on your mate, Andre Silva.
Sorry, who's that? I'm confused. Sorry.
Andre Silva.
I don't know who that is.
Continuing his goal scoring form. I know he didn't score in this game, but he's been on since the beginning of the season, he's been banging them in. If he can continue to do that, if they could get Jovic and Kostic on top form, then they have a very good chance of getting into that top 6. Younes, as you said, is on a rich vein of form as well, and I actually put him in my dream team. And I've got Salah in my dream team as well, so I've done pretty well. So yeah, I think Frankfurt are playing some good stuff. Can they continue to do that? As I said, if they could keep everyone fit and keep them in form, then yeah, why not? I do feel sorry for Freiburg in this one, though. I do feel sorry for Cook. It's just one of them own goals where he did well to block the shot initially, couldn't stop his momentum, and there you go. They've dropped 2 points, but Freiburg are on top form as well. Obviously lost to Bayern Munich, dropped some points here, but they could have won this game. They could have won this
definitely.
game. Quite unfortunate.
How do you think things are looking from a Freiburg point of view, Flozif?
I think from Freiburg point of view, it looks great. Of course, you're a little bit mad if you lose the game against Bayern Munich against hitting the post or the corner. What's the thing on top?
The
bar. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hitting the bar in the last minute, or playing a good game against Frankfurt and not manage to win. But 24 points, close to Europe, maybe to 7th spot. Never know what happens, and already far away from relegating. I would say Freiburg is already safe, so they did their job at halftime already, and they can just enjoy the rest of the Bundesliga season so far.
Yeah, I think Freiburg have had a really good season, and they're another team that went under the radar. It was, I feel like they were quite a bit unfortunate against Bayern last time out as well. So to bounce back from that, to get a point in, I think they'll look back and say, it's still a good point to gain against Frankfurt, who have been unbeaten in a few weeks now. So it's not the result that they would have wanted, obviously, but you can't really mind too much, I don't think.
Can I just ask a question to Flo about Freiburg's manager, Christian Streich? He's done a really good job at Freiburg. Has there ever been any sort of links with him getting a job at a bigger club, or is it just he is Freiburg is that's just a marriage made in heaven, he's not going to move on kind of thing?
Sometimes there have been links created by the media, but to be honest, it's most of the time it's the last what you said. So many people say he fits to Freiburg perfectly, and that he wouldn't work as good as he works in Freiburg at another club. And I'm pretty sure that it's the same. He was the under-19 coach before, and I can't imagine him being coach of another club. anymore. He's also too much integrated in the whole local atmosphere. He's from over there, from the region, and he loves it there. He makes his money. I mean, 10 years as a Bundesliga coach, he's fresh, he's finished, and when he loses a job or decides to stop it, I guess he will be quite a nice senior citizen, enjoying the best years of his, of his life, not working for a professional football club, not have to stress anymore.
Yeah.
Love that. Right, who we got next? Let's talk about a team that have been knocking around the top. For we still believe they've got a nosebleed, and it's Union Berlin. They were unfortunate this time. I say unfortunate. It was 1-0 to Leipzig. The goal came on there about 70 minutes by Emil Forsberg, who came on and changed the game. Leipzig's form has been really, really poor of late, Flo. So how important was this to pick up 3 points?
Very important, especially regarding the fact that everyone is playing against each other from the top of the league. I mean, Leverkusen, Dortmund on Tuesday, Leverkusen, Wolfsburg today, tomorrow, Dortmund, Gladbach today. We're looking at the fixtures later. Union Berlin gegen Leipzig. So everyone's taking points from everyone. And now it's a situation where you can make a big move towards your goal, create a little of a gap between you and your opponents, and they did it. They have 6 points now to the 5th spot, and that's quite solid for the moment.
What about you, Devo? What do you think about this?
I think Leipzig deserved the win overall. I think Union kind of went back to the old Union of being very defensive and not really taking the game to Leipzig, and it almost worked. They almost come away with a point. But as you said, Forsberg came off the bench and changed the game. He scored some important goals this season, and this is another one. But yeah, it's very important 3 points, considering their form was very patchy coming into this. And Union have been upsetting teams left, right, and centre. So there was a lot of pressure on Leipzig in this game. And they came through with 3 points, which is massive. As Flo was saying, points are being dropped by all the teams around them, which is quite fortunate for Leipzig, considering how many points they've dropped in the last few weeks. But to find yourself 6 points, off of the team in 5th in the Champions League places, that's all you can ask for. And they would hope that this result can kind of see them get a steady run of form again moving forward.
Definitely. I mean, it's unfortunate for Union Berlin because they were celebrating their 55th birthday on the day of this fixture as well. So they really could have done with the 3 points. But sometimes class does overshine what else is going on around you sometimes, and it wasn't the most comfortable performance from Leipzig, but it reminded me of a title challenging performance, grinding out a result, that sort of feel. That's what it had about it for me, and a team that did grind out a result, which more than likely are going to go on and win the league, is Bayern Munich. And they won 1-0 away to Augsburg. And it's the first time in 12 games that they've kept a clean sheet, which, can you imagine that? It's Bayern Munich that we're talking about here. I felt Augsburg were unlucky based on the second half performance alone, because the first half, it was all Bayern, Devo.
Yeah, it was, as you'd expect. Augsburg, not exactly in the best run of form. You'd expect Bayern Munich to, before the game, you're thinking this could be 5 or 6. So the way the first half went is no surprise whatsoever. Lewandowski got his customary goal. Probably could have had another one. Missed a chance. For him, it's a chance. For most people, it's a half chance. He skied it. But yeah, Bayern Munich looked solid. They looked pretty good. And then second half, they kind of started to wobble a little bit. And Augsburg will feel like they probably should have come away with a point. They pressurised Bayern Munich quite a bit, got the penalty, and missed it.
No excuse to miss a penalty, miss the target from 12 yards out.
No.
So many a time.
You can't do that. You can't do that, especially against a Bayern Munich.
He met the goal, but it was too close.
Yeah, he sent Neuer the wrong way as well. That's the thing. If you've done the eyes, you sorted that bit out. Finn Borgson is hit his last 9 penalties in a row as well, and then this one. But Lewandowski, 22 goals in 17 Bundesliga games, which is this it's going to get smashed. It's going to get smashed, that record. I can feel it. And I like seeing like change happen in front of me. I like seeing records getting broken and things like that. So it's nice to be alive at this sort of time. Penalty all day though, right? For the Lewandowski one.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where the defenders tried to kick the ball and Hernandez got there first, and the defenders kicked the bottom of Hernandez's foot, and then Hernandez has gone down like he's been punted up in the air. I mean, by the laws of the game, again, it's one of those things where, as I was saying, is that enough contact for him to go down? Probably not, no. But there is contact. Therefore, it is a penalty. Yeah. It's a strange one.
The same situation, if you have the same situation in the midfield area, there will be a free kick for Augsburg. Because Hernandez got his feet over the feet of his opponent. And opponent could be hurt from the things among your shoe. I like the English word. What do you have on your shoe, under your shoes?
Studs.
That you don't get stuck in the studs. Studs. What a word! I never heard it before. Never used that word. Do you know? I should have told you.
This isn't called the Bundesliga show or dugout or top. This is all called educating Flo. That's what we should
I love it.
Educate English lessons with Flo.
I have education for you, part because
yeah, exactly. You come up with some stuff.
Germany, we call it Stollen, like Christstollen.
Like
the cake.
Yeah, like the cake and Stollen. Yeah.
Well, okay. There you go. I love a bit of Stollen as well. I wish it was still Christmas.
Careful. If you go on a sports shop and say I want some Stollen, you won't get the cake. Yeah? You will
get you get a pack of studs.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I want to go to this game next. It is Gladbach versus Bremen. And that is a breakdown of everything that happened in Gladbach versus Bremen. Brought to you by Ida Mack.
Nice little hooligan there. Going and that.
Honestly, she was kicking off until I put that game on, and then she was like, just commenting on it and commentating on it. I did not enjoy this game. It was 9 minutes that I don't think I'll get back anytime soon of my life. Gladbach did win the game 1-0. It's important for them to win the game to keep the pace at the top of the league. Elvedi with the goal. Did you have as much excitement as I did, Flo?
For the goal?
For this game. The goal was good. The goal was taken quite nicely.
Yeah, it's a good goal.
I watched the second half. Basically, I started after the Elvedi goal. So I only missed 30 minutes of my life, but I was
you're a lucky man.
To equalize in the last minutes. They had some good efforts trying to equalize the game. It wouldn't have been it would have been okay if they equalized it. It was an equal game from my point of view. But they missed the luck they had in the past weeks. This is a typical game. Bremen lost those games a lot, or more often than on average in the last season. And in this season, they often draw these games. So they lost this one today. Bad for Bremen, bad for Leverkusen, obviously, because Gladbach is getting closer. But for the Bundesliga, because we have now from Sport 7 to Sport 3 only 4 points difference, and that's looking quite exciting.
Yeah, this is where the race is. This is where the excitement is, isn't it, Devo? Yeah. Like, we know that Bayern have got that 4-point cushion. We know what happens normally when that happens.
15 points, yeah.
Yeah, there is literally no difference. But the race for the Champions League spots and just those the lesser clubs knocking around trying to get into Europe, this is where the excitement is.
Yeah, and as I said, it's big 3 points for Gladbach. Clean sheet, mainly thanks to Jan Sommer, who pulled off a wonder save at one point in this game. And then there's another one. They got quite lucky. Bremen hit the post.
Rashika.
And they rode their luck a little bit, but in the end, that's 3 points, hard fought, and they'll be very happy with that. And Bremen can take some positives out of this because it wasn't a bad performance from them at all. And
this is what I wanted to ask. Like, where did Bremen go from here?
The last few games they played quite well. So you could take, you're not always going to win I mean, going away to Borussia Mönchengladbach's not an easy place to go and pick up 3 points, but they gave a good account of themselves. So I think that they'll take positives from that and try and move on to the next one and see if they can pick up some points from there.
What do you think of the season outlook now? Second half of the season for Bremen, Flo. Do you think is it just carry on doing what we're doing, or do they need to make some any changes in particular? What do they need to do, considering how they went on last season?
They should just carry on, because they're not playing a very good season or a good season at the moment. 18 points is not so good, but regarding the fact that the bottom of the Bundesliga is behaving so badly at the moment, they don't really need to be worried about relegating. So carry on what you're doing, save your points, grab a win over there, grab a point over there, and if you're lucky and you can plan early for the next season, use the time, plan for the next season, maybe try to bring some new young players in, give them some time to develop the last couple of 3-4 games. And then it's been a good and decent season. If you come from the relegation playoffs, you're just happy that you don't need to go there again. I can tell relegation playoffs are worse than relegating immediately. Your heartbeat is going mad.
Well, they've shown for quite a bit of excitement over the last couple of years, anyway. So I just don't want to be there. You've got to aim for 15th. And one team that is aiming for 15th is a team that have lost their last 5. Well, they lost their last 150,000 games, but haven't scored a goal in their last 5, and that is your boys, Cologne. Schalke lost 2-1 at home to Cologne, and this is the first time in that run, which did end last weekend. I understand that in game week 15, but this is the first time I've genuinely felt sorry for Schalke.
You know what? I would feel sorry for them, but if you defend the way they defend, you're not going to win matches. You're not going to win football matches. You're not going to draw. You're going to lose more football matches than not. They defend so openly. It's just so amateurish.
That first goal was criminal. It was criminal. They're defending on the first one.
Both of them were criminal.
I think the second one is a bit different.
The second one was worse. The second goal was worse because it happened in the couple of minutes before that Cologne had some different promising looking attacks which looked like the same, but Schalke managed to defend it. And in the end, I don't know, you have to take the point. Because it's only 4 points to Cologne. 4 points is nothing to relegation sports in 17 games. We don't need to talk about a direct qualification or direct or spot 15 that you don't relegate. Your aim or goal at Schalke must have been not to let Cologne go away. And Cologne was on the bottom. So they had a couple of games lost. I don't know, take the draw. Don't risk everything. Don't take everything on a card. And they defend like schoolboys, like, I don't know, 10-year-olds. Everyone's just running towards the goal. No one's leaving behind. Istanbul, they could have even defended the second goal. The attack was over, and then the Schalke just stopped playing.
Yeah,
Istanbul just stopped playing. I don't know. Suat Serdar just stopped playing, and suddenly Cologne was having a 3 against 2.
Yeah, it's Rex Bajai who I want to say his name. I haven't said his name for ages. Man, like Elvis Rex Bajai. Yeah, it was his pass that found Tillman. Literally, there was quite a lot of injury time anyway because there was a knock, there was head injury in the game, which then allowed 6 minutes, which is almost unheard of in Bundesliga football, to have 6 minutes of added time at the end of the game. And Tillman, the teenager, he scored, with only a couple of moments to go. But I understand what Schalke are trying to do because they picked up the win in week 15. They had their game last week. They've got Bayern next. They've got an awful run of fixtures. So this was a game which they felt compelled to win. So I understand to take the point, and on any normal occasion and any normal club in any normal circumstance would sit back and take the point in this here. But when you're playing a giant 6-pointer, to go away with a point each, it would have benefited Cologne more than it would have benefited Schalke. So I don't actually blame them for going for it.
But
Positives.
the loss is bigger than what you could have won.
Yeah,
Now
I
it's
get that.
8 points,
I mean, you
8
can
points
go for it.
down, and 7 points. It's the message. No one ever managed to come back from 7 points. I believe the lowest points was 10 or 11 when someone managed to come back and to save the league. And you won't manage it from 7 points. It's just it's never happened before. And they need, I don't know what they need, 30 points, 28 points, and I don't know where to get that idea from, that inspiration from to get those points.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's different over in Germany in comparison to a number of other leagues in the Power 5, so to speak. There's only 18 teams here, so you've only got 17 games to try and get another 20 points from. It's averaging more than a point a game.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. I mean,
however, like Max Hoppe is loving life. 5 goals from 3 shots only. From 5 shots only in his 3 games. So that's a positive. Klaus Huntelaar, yes, he is. How old is he now? 62, 63 in April. Yeah. He's back at the club. His experience might be able to help out a little bit. Kolasinac is there still. Stambouli not exactly a child.
The key guy is Harry. Harry, if he plays, then they have a chance. And he was the main contributor to the goal that they got, causing havoc, running rings around Cologne defenders. Cologne didn't defend too well in this game either. Let's not, because I watched the first maybe 35 minutes or so of this game just before Cologne scored. Actually, I watched. We
actually tag teamed this game.
Yeah,
because you watching the first half of this game and the first portion of the game, and as soon as you said that, I can't remember what other game was on. It was an English game, but then I flipped over as you left the coverage of this, so I covered. So we just covered the whole game between us.
First half hour, Schalke looked good. They were putting together some good.
They did look good.
Gave Cologne all sorts of headaches, and then I was like, Schalke looked decent. Switched over. Next thing I know, they're goal down.
Just crying laughter faces in the WhatsApp group and that.
This match looked exactly like the 18s playing against the 16s. Funny thing is, if this match would have been in Bundesliga 2, in the second Bundesliga, everyone would say, "Oh, what a great match in the second Bundesliga." If it's the first Bundesliga, everyone is saying, "Oh, it's El Catastrofico. No one wants to watch it."
That's the way it works. It's almost like big club privilege. You're not allowed to appreciate these sort of like dogged games if you support a big club. That they are the laws of football, and we have to abide by those. One team who are not abiding by the laws of football and do not care for anyone or anything is Arminia Bielefeld. This game absolutely fried my brain and shagged my pocket. I swear to God. Arminia Bielefeld 3, Stuttgart 0. And before we go into this game, I realised something, which I'm a bit of a stickler for grammar. Written grammar in particular. Everyone knows, I'll put in in certain things because I'm from Northampton and that's what we do. That's what we do. And we all have a bit of slang and we all have a bit of chat. But when it comes to written grammar, I am, super chief in super. I'm at the top. I'm head of the police. And I only realised last week that I've been spelling Arminia Bielefeld wrong the whole time.
Oh no!
And none of you. Why didn't no one tell me? Last week.
I have to admit, I told you both you guys in the first show that it's spelled wrong during the show.
How many beers had I had?
And I don't know. We were new together. I didn't want to look like a geek or not. I don't want to be. I just want to be a sympathetic guy, And said, okay,
you
the guys didn't react to it. Okay, don't stick to it. Just keep it for yourself. So I just kept for myself the last couple of weeks. And
I'm so embarrassed, honestly. I care. I'm such a stickler for it. Armenia is spelt Arminia, not Armenia, like the country. So livid with myself, absolutely livid. But Stuttgart should be the ones. But they never organised it.
Where that name comes from, or shall I spare it for next week? Wolfrum's words of wisdom.
Next
week. Yeah. I don't want to know. I want to know. I want to wait. I want to wait.
Yeah. I say so far, Armenia is quite a historically important name, but I won't tell you anything more about that.
Oh, that means you have to tune in. You have to tune in on Wednesday to the Football Dugout YouTube channel to find out exactly what Flo is talking about. And I'm looking forward to being on that show with you, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I might not be on the show anymore because Dev, I don't want to do shows with me anymore because I'm not a big fan of Rihanna.
Yeah, let's not get into that. Let's not get into that. Let's just.
Dev, I don't want to be upset, but I think Rihanna's. I can't say no. I think she's pretty. The goals came from Klaus Kempfone goal and our boy Doa. He's gone. Oh my god. Oh, poor Rihanna. The goals came from Klaus Kemp's own goal and our boy Doan. He scored right towards the end. I'm so happy for him as well. And it's his doing that got the second goal.
I was thinking the exact same thing when I saw that he scored. I was like, good on him, because he's been consistently the best player for them this season. And,
standout. And
he's been playing really well, not just the best of the bad bunch, but really playing well. And I know he's on loan from PSV, but this is a massive chance for him to put his name, in the shop window and get either go back to PSV and get first team football there. They do make it into the Champions League, which is looking a bit shaky, or get himself a big move, and he deserves it. He looks a very tidy player.
He is guaranteed to get into 5 of the top 6 clubs in the Bundesliga and start. I honestly think he's that good. He won't start. He won't start for Bayern.
Japan have got some good players.
Well, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like at Bayern, I reckon he could actually go to Bayern and fit into that squad, but not as a starter. But I reckon he could start for anyone else, including you lot.
He still lacks reputation. If you would make this move now, he would, for example, change to Leverkusen or to Dortmund. He wouldn't have the reputation to be in the starting 11 at the beginning. He would have to fight for his spot, and this can be sometimes very difficult. I mean, take a look at Borussia Dortmund, for example, what they have in the midfield in their offense, and there are so many players wanting to start, and then your Wirtz Wonderkid coming from Arminia Bielefeld. You're cheap because you don't have the same wage like the others. You weren't bought by a big transfer fee. So the officials say, okay, we don't have pressure to let him play. If we don't let him play, we can sell him anyway. And it's very difficult. I think he should keep or stick to a smaller club for 2 years, something like that. Continuing scoring more and more goals and assists, and then as a made man going to a big club.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, at the age of 22, he's way too old to go to Dortmund. So let's be real.
Maybe in 5 years it would be someone for Union Berlin, or in 10.
Yeah, no, they've changed their mentality now, haven't they? They've literally fried my brain. It's hold on a minute, how are you playing for Union Berlin and starting? You're only 25 years old. I don't get it. So that's what they do. But Arminia Bielefeld, 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games. This is what every team down the bottom needs. That little tiny run. Look, it was only Freiburg 6-7 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that we were like, oh, Freiburg might go down here. They ain't looking good. Next thing you know, they're cruising. With their 5 wins on the bounce, and then they lost against Bayern, but then they picked up another point. So that's 16 points from a possible 21 for them. And now here, Bielefeld are picking up points as well, pulling away from Mainz and Schalke.
Yeah, that's the key thing, is that they've got a massive, massive lead over Schalke and Cologne. Yeah. Where now it's just, can they get themselves out of this playoff space and stay clear of that? And then they've had a massive season. Because, the way they started off this season, you would have thought they would have been there with Cologne and Schalke really, really struggling. But they've turned the corner a little bit. They're starting to prove how they won via the Bundesliga. Above Stuttgart, who have been very impressive this season. Their goalkeeper Ortega has been making saves all season.
Oh God, yeah.
absolutely just a stupid save in this game with his foot.
Oh my God! What a save!
Somehow.
Do you know how many times we wound that?
If David De Gea made that save, you'd see.
Wouldn't hit the end of it. Wouldn't see the end of it.
David De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers with his feet, like in terms of saving the ball with his feet. I'd say him and Neuer, but Ortega, that save was top class.
Thing is, they've actually got games where they could pick up points. Personally, I think that out of their next 3 games, they'll only pick up 4 points, but they could pick up 7, and they could even pick up 9.
4 points
might be enough.
Yeah. They would go with 2, I'd say.
They get 2 points out of the next 3 games. So they've got Frankfurt at home. That's tomorrow. They've got Cologne away next weekend, and then they've got Werder Bremen at home. So for me, that is points that they could potentially pick up. They've got an awful run of fixtures after that. Listen to their following fixtures after that Werder Bremen game, and these are consecutively, including an English week. Another English week?
Yeah, it's COVID.
You're kidding me?
These games in before the Euros.
I can't believe there's so much Bundesliga football. I can't even stand this league. And so after that Bremen game, they've got Bayern away, Wolfsburg at home, which is going to be a draw. Dortmund away, Union Berlin at home, Leverkusen away, Leipzig at home.
Yeah.
But after that, again,
they got Mainz. And Freiburg will be terrible again.
And Mainz will probably be relegated.
They have the teams where they can grab their points after those games, and they have enough spot between themselves and Mainz and Schalke to not be in trouble after those first 6-7 games of the second part of the season. So in March, April, it's still everything is open and they can grab their points and secure the Bundesliga.
From a Stuttgart point of view, because we haven't really spoke about Stuttgart on this game, because no Wamanga Tuka, no Nico Gonzalez. I didn't realise how heavily reliant they were on these 2 players.
Yeah, it's a bad day at the office for them. As we said, these 2 sides came up, and if you'd have seen the way the 2 sides have attacked the Bundesliga, you'd think Stuttgart were runaway champions. But in actual fact, it was the other way around. And this was kind of proof of how that happened. Stuttgart, this could have been more than 3-0. I remember Kobel making some good saves himself. And Stuttgart won't worry too much because, they're comfortable in the table, comfortably mid-table, which is, the plan is to stay in the league and then, build. So it's not nice to lose 3-0, especially to a side that are struggling near the relegation. They'll probably lick their wounds, come back next week with a full squad, hopefully, and right some wrongs.
And you may not forget, of course, Wamangituka and Gonzalez are the bright players, or the bright shining players of Stuttgart. But Gonzalo Castro, he is nearly made 400 Bundesliga appearances. He is he's their captain. He's the oldest.
Did he play for you lot?
Yeah.
Oh, he was on his way to become a legend for Leverkusen. He made his debut in 2004 and changed in 2016, I believe. And
he was there forever. Because I remember signing him for my Villa team on FM 09 from you lot. And I started one with you lot in 2012 as well. And I swear he was there. So I remember him because I started another one with you in the archives when you had a Donkor there. Remember Donkor?
We had Donkor was at Dortmund, but not at Leverkusen.
Oh, he wasn't. Oh, I signed him for Leverkusen. That's my bad.
Okay.
When life gets in the way of real life, like FM life.
Yeah, Odonko is a good signing in FM life, but was never a good signing in real life.
No, he was just super rapid, super strong, could cut in and things like that. Oh, great player.
He was too fast for a football player. I always heard him say.
A dumb troll.
Kind of like Walcott, running too fast with his brain.
Yeah, couldn't catch up.
Yeah.
What have we got here? Yes, Hertha. Hertha. They lost 3-0 at home to Hoffenheim. This is a painful result for Hertha because both these teams have been out of form and out of sorts quite a bit recently. Both teams were desperate for 3 points, and Hertha could have taken the lead as well with the penalty that Christian Piatek missed after just 12 minutes. So this is a difficult period now for Hertha Berlin, isn't it, Flo?
It is, and the problem with Hertha is that they're not a team. There are 11 single players playing on the pitch.
Yes,
and it becomes more and more obvious. I don't know if you've seen the pictures from the halftime, because on their way to the dressing rooms, the whole team was like individually shouting at each other, complaining about each other, and even the coach admitted afterwards that in the dressing room, players were still complaining that the defender said you should have scored the goal. The attacker said, "Why do you concede the goal?" So there's not a friendly balance in that team. They need to work on that, because otherwise it's not far away to the relegation spot, and you never know what happens. I remember when they were relegated in 2012.
2012, yeah, around 2012 time, yeah.
It was a similar situation. They had a way better team than the relegation teams. Got to the relegation playoffs and lost against Fortuna Düsseldorf, who had their fanatic fans in the back, and the whole match was just messy. The relegation match, and it's something that can always happen. I mean, being a little bit unlucky, maybe Hertha's relegation spot, Hamburg's relegation spot, Bundesliga 2, and suddenly you are in the second Bundesliga.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, it was Rudy's deflected shot which took Hoffenheim into the lead. But I'll just look at certain situations that happened in this game. You know, I'm really wound up with Luka Bacchio because he's kept Kramaric on side. You know, the defence had already sort of like started moving up after Samaseku had his. I think it was meant to be a shot. It's about 35 yards out. It's not the strongest shot, but Kramaric is there, just controls it and just nods it home. And it's like, come on, man. You know, everyone had stepped up. Everyone was fine. Luka Bacchio, lazy. You know, just ambling forwards. You've got to do better than that. You've got to be working together.
This is where it comes back to what Florian was saying about them not being a team and them being individuals. Players just doing their own thing, and you know that's criminal. You know, when you push up as a team, you learn that as a kid.
Yes.
You know, you push up as a team, and you know everyone has to get out as fast as to play someone offside. And when one is walking out and everyone else is running out, this is what happens.
It's frustrating because he's already done the hard work. You know, trying to, he's pushed him right out to almost by the corner flag. So he's done the hard defensive bit already. So
just switching off.
Just finish the job.
Yeah, it's concentration. And Hertha are in big trouble. Big trouble. There's a lot of teams around that same kind of points mark towards the bottom of the league, but some of them are picking up form. Hertha are the opposite. And this is a massive win for Hoffenheim because they were in trouble themselves, and this has propelled them up the table quite a bit. And more importantly, maybe than this one singular result, is the fact that Kramaric has got 2 goals. If they could get him back firing, that could be massive for them. That could really help them to put a string of results together. Because
the fact he's out,
one of the strikers.
Yeah, exactly. He was out for a long time, you know, with COVID and like trying to recover. I think he had a slight muscle injury as well, so he's out for 5-6 weeks almost, weren't it? 5-6 match days at least. Anyway, he's still got 10 goals. 10 goals in Hoffenheim played 17 games, but he's not been part of all those 17.
He had something like 10 in 12 or 10 in 13 before this game. Obviously got himself a brace, so it's vital important that they get him back to full fitness and on form. He basically holds the future of their season in his hands.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's a bigger one-man team than Hoffenheim this season in Bundesliga. Not disrespect for the rest of them, but it's true.
No, I get it. But from a Hertha point of view, it's not great either. You know, looking at their fixtures, you know, it's obviously we're at the Hinrunde, but it's Werder next, Frankfurt away, Bayern at home, Stuttgart away, Leipzig at home, Wolfsburg they've got Augsburg, then Dortmund, and then Leverkusen. In fact, there's no area that I can see where Hertha could go on a run. I can't see it happening. I really can't. From Hoffenheim's point of view, massive victory. They're in 11th. We'll go through the table in a bit anyway, because we've still got one more game to go through. And of course, Wolfram's words of wisdom. But, Hoffenheim, they, after that win, they've got Cologne next. So even if they fail to go on and pick up results in their following 3 games, they would have picked up 6 points in a really crucial key part of the season, which will sort them out and settle them down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, if they lose that game to Cologne, it's very interesting. The bottom of the table is very tight.
Yeah, because Cologne will close the gap. Then they've got Bayern. Then they've got Frankfurt, who are trying to chase Europe by the looks of it. Then Dortmund, and then they've got to worry about the Europa League, which might become as a real distraction to them, and in a bad way. I don't think it will benefit them whatsoever. Right, the final game that we need to talk about, yes, it is, of course, Flo's lot, the Leverkusen boys, with a 2-1 2-1 win over Borussia Dortmund, which is massive result with everything that's happening in the top 4 at the moment. And, I feel that the whole of the Leverkusen side, when we were talking about team performances and a group of individuals with Hertha Berlin, this is the opposite. I feel that Bayer Leverkusen are, they put away their issues that they had between Christmas and whenever, and it looks like they are the complete team again. They all want to play together.
Yeah, it's mostly thanks to Peter Bosz, from my point of view, because he stopped making the failures which stopped him in Dortmund, for example. When he was a Dortmund player, he never changed his team. He wasn't a good moderator. He wasn't a good wasn't good to talk to the players. And in his first half season, 1.5 season, he had his difficulties in Leverkusen, but from time to time, he's getting better and better, doing rotation, job sharing, etc., etc. And it seems that everyone in the team is committed to the idea behind Peter Bosz's way of playing, and committed to the whole team and acting as a team. And what I really liked about him, he said, we were talking about the past games in the press conference. Then he said, okay, Bayern Munich was unlucky. We got a little crack over there. Then Frankfurt was bad. Bremen was better, but still not good. Union Berlin was one more step in between Frankfurt. The cup game was another step. So we were trying to make further steps back to the form we had. And this was another step. And then, as you said, it was massive. It was so important, especially looking at the first half, dominating Borussia Dortmund. You should have scored a second goal, or a third maybe. Chances were there. And then they wouldn't have got in trouble in the second half, because, to be honest, looking at the second half, the win was a little bit lucky. Just because Dortmund this year is defending horribly, we got that game. I mean, take a look at the second goal from Wirtz. This goal may never happen. When Dortmund lost the ball in the midfield, and all of a sudden Wirtz is standing alone in front of the goalkeeper, you may not defend like that if your ambition is to challenge Bayern Munich or to be a runner-up for Champions League spots.
I think it's so important what Leverkusen are doing right now. That goal from Diaby, who I absolutely adore. By the way, I've said it.
I tell you, don't adore him.
Have hope.
And Rafael Guerrero, they don't adore him at all.
Oh, really? How savage is me? I went straight in. Have hope.
He probably will. So he'll just be late to it again. As I told him about players, and then 2 years later, he's like, "Oh, that guy's really good."
Yeah, I told you about him before, mate. But no, I've been a big admirer of Diaby. When we started doing the Bundesliga show last season, at the end of last season, I was like, yeah, I'm so glad we're doing this show, because I feel like we've got more of a platform to talk about really good players that don't get as much press as they do over here in England. But Leon Bailey's deep cross for it was sublime. But it's the early goals. That's their 8th goal in the first 15 minutes of games in 17 Bundesliga games. How important is it that they continue, putting their mark on games early doors?
It's vitally important to score early goals because, an early goal changes a game. And
it does for most teams, but the reason why I ask that question is because we look at, for instance, if we look at the Premier League for a very short second, Fulham took the lead against Man United in the first 5 minutes, and they sat back and were like, ugh. Whereas Leverkusen, they play a different brand of football.
The thing is, and we saw the problems Leverkusen had against Bremen, against Frankfurt. If you score an early goal, you have the opportunity to go to counter-pressing because the opponent needs to open by the time of the game a little bit more. They need to go a little bit more forward, and we have those fast and rapid players. If we get the cross balls to Diaby or to Bailey, they're just running down the wing, we can do the counter-attacks. But the more and more a match is 0-0 or we go behind, it becomes more difficult for us because if a team goes back and is just defending around his own box, it's very difficult for those players like Diaby and Bailey to bring their speed on the pitch. And when I remember correctly, it was the Bremen game, I believe. The fastest player on the pitch was running 29 kilometers per hour. And Diaby and Bailey both are able to run 34, 35 kilometers per hour, so they couldn't even bring their speed on the pitch. They had no space for it. And if Leverkusen scores the first goal, it's most likely that they're at least going to secure a point, or maybe mostly securing a win, because then we have the opportunity to do counter attacks and to play the game the way we want it.
No, I get that. The Julian Brandt. It's typical that Julian Brandt scored. I've already referenced Football Manager, but it's such a Football Manager situation, isn't it? Julian Brandt hasn't scored a goal for nearly a year, and he comes back to haunt his former club and could have scored again to make it 2-1 to Dortmund.
Yeah, I think he probably should have scored the second one. First one was a great finish. Probably should have scored the second. I think he was trying to cut it back to Royce rather than actually go for goal because he didn't really put his foot.
He said that in the post-match interview.
Yeah, he should have just put his foot
save his skin.
Just put your foot through it, hit it as hard as you can. From that, you can't miss a target from there, surely. But you're giving a defender a much more difficult task of blocking it if you're putting some pace behind the ball. So he probably should have scored, but it wasn't to be.
Fucking Edmund Silva was there. He's so cool. It's unbelievable. I believe he pees ice cubes. He's so cool.
You know what? Edmund Silva, I really rate him. I rated him when I saw him play for Gimenez against us in the Europa League 2 years ago. How was it last year?
Victoria Gimenez. That was I was working at Brixton.
So two legs in the group stage, whatever.
Both games. We signed him after the group stage.
Yeah, he impressed me massively in both games. Like, this he's a really good defender. We had him under pressure, but as you said, never looked ruffled. Took care of everything he needed to. I think everyone talks about Jonathan Tah. I think Tapsoba's twice the defender Jonathan Tah is personally.
Well, do you know what? I have this conversation about the Upamecano-Konate situation. I feel that Konate is above Upamecano in the pecking order. But, you can't always, people get upset when you say things that don't agree with the common law of football Twitter and things like that. Anyway. And the Florian Wirtz goal. Bloody hell, let's move on. Florian Wirtz. That reminded me of Michael Owen World Cup 98.
Of your what?
World Cup 98. Michael Owen.
World Cup 98. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the finish, yeah.
Yeah.
I got. I just couldn't understand it.
Just showing my age. That's what it is.
Technique. But yeah, what a player! 17 years of age. What a player! I wonder.
He's going on to big stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just hope Leverkusen can keep hold of him for a good number of years before.
Yeah, a good 4. I wanted to see him there for another 4 years at least, and I wanted to turn into an absolute beast. And I wanted to turn into, the talisman that Kai Havertz was and some before going on anywhere else. And if he does go on somewhere else, be the guy.
Yeah.
Be the guy still. That's what I want to see from Florian Wirtz. But it's now time for this.
Wolfrum's words of wisdom.
Wolfram's words of wisdom. Flozif, take it away, son.
Okay, you got the picture?
Of course I have.
Perfect. I don't know if you guys, have you ever seen this one before?
Well, I just thought it was something to do with the Arsenal, to be
I thought it
honest.
was something to do with the Arsenal as well. Yeah.
I was like, we're talking about Lucas Podolski today, are we? Go on, lad.
It's the goal scorer's gun. So the best goal scorer in Germany doesn't receive a golden boot. He's getting the gun from the biggest football newspaper, the Kicker.
Kicker,
You can see Kicker on the top right corner.
I did see that, yeah.
And I thought since Robert Lewandowski is just banging everything at the moment, I just wanted to show you guys and all the lot who's watching what the best goal scorer in Germany is about to get to the end of the season, because it's quite special since every other competition has a golden boot or something like that. But we don't have it in Germany. Like, we don't have a cup for the champions. We have like
you got the Shale.
I don't even Shale. Yeah, Shale is. I don't know what to call it like this in English. Yeah, we've got a Shale, exactly. We call it like a Shale for salads or something like this. But Robert Lewandowski, what I just originally wanted to talk about is he has now scored 22 goals. And with 22 goals, he would have been the best goal scorer in Bundesliga history in 22 seasons so far.
Jesus Christ.
So for example, I'm just going to mention some names who became best goal scorer at the end of the season. You should know, or I'm sure you know. And Robert Lewandowski has scored more. For example, season 93, Anthony Yeboah scored 20 goals.
Yes, Frankfurt, Leverkusen.
96, Freddy Bobic, current
Freddie Bobic.
scored 17 goals and was the best goal scorer. 70 goals.
Well, that's 1 and 2, isn't it? You take that.
I don't know. Have you ever heard about Martin Max?
Yeah, Martin Max. Where was he? Who was Martin Max at? He wasn't.
Anything to do with Philip Max?
Philip Max is his son.
There you go.
It's actually brilliant, because I was going to ask, because you know when you see names, because I was thinking, when Kloss scored, I was like, is he like any relation to Stefan Kloss? But I don't think he is he?
No, he isn't.
Where's Martin Max at again?
Martin Max, he was best goal scorer playing for 1860 Munich. You remember this club?
1860 München. Yeah.
1860 München. Yeah, exactly. So, but he never got a chance for the national team. It's a pity. He was one of the best strikers around.
You get those players, don't you?
And he just got one friendly match, the second half, because the coach said, "Okay, you play so good, but we don't want to have you in the national team. But at least we give you one cap for your own broken cabinet."
Michael Ricketts.
Okay. Who else do we have? Giovanni Elba. Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah, Elba, Bayern legend,
In 2003. Theophanis Gekas. I don't know if you heard about him,
Yeah,
but he's
I
the most
remember
ugly,
No, I don't remember him.
one of the. He's like the Greek Wayne Rooney with long hair.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Very well.
Who did he play for? Was he?
He was playing for Bochum.
Bochum.
And,
Did he play for Leverkusen?
Yeah, after that season, he was the best goal scorer. He was signed from Leverkusen from a clause for only like 4 million. Everyone was applauding and saying, "Oh yeah, you did a great signing," and he was just rubbish. He was all the time. He went worse every single season. Who else do we have? I don't know. We have like even he scored more than Robert Lewandowski himself for Borussia Dortmund. In 2014, he was best goal scorer for Borussia Dortmund with 20 goals. Now he is 22. 6 years later. This man is like good wine, getting just better and better and better with every year.
He's too busy stat padding. That's what it is. It's stat padding. That's embarrassing. Of course, not stat padding. He's the best striker in world football right now. Tell me another one. Oh yeah, I'll say it. You can't. So let's have a look at some tables. Let's move that bit at the bottom there, and I'm gonna put the bottom half of the table up. Here we go. Right. So Schalke. Schalke. They are rock bottom. And did we expect anything different? We didn't expect anything different whatsoever, did we? So they are not having a good time, are they? Bless them. 7 points from, a possible 51, if you want to put it that way, if you want to be even worse than the situation is. Mainz, they're also on 7 points, and both of those teams are 8 points adrift of Cologne, who are currently sitting in that relegation playoff position. Arminia Bielefeld's victory has propelled them to 15th in the league. They are 10 points clear of an automatic drop and just 2 points above Cologne. Hertha Berlin, they are now involved in a relegation dogfight as far as I'm concerned, with 17 points. Werder Bremen and Augsburg and Hoffenheim are all around that area as well. Stuttgart's wonderful away form. Oh, it's disgustingly tight down there. Really is.
4 points between the playoff places and 11th. That's tasty.
It's making things very, very interesting going into the second half of the Bundesliga season for sure. And then you've also got Stuttgart, who are in the bottom half, but they do still have the best defensive record in the Bundesliga right now. Best away record, in the Bundesliga right now. Into the top half, Freiburg, they're 2 points ahead of Stuttgart. They're going to be all right. I'm sure they will be. Frankfurt, despite only drawing during the week, they are still knocking around in a real good position, and they're only just 2 points shy of Borussia Dortmund, who currently occupy the last Champions League spot. Union Berlin, they dropped down to 7th place after. They don't drop down 7th place. They dropped from 5th to 6th, after their 1-0 defeat to Leipzig, who are trying to keep in contact with Bayern Munich with their victory over them. But I can't see much happening with that. There's going to have to be some serious change as far as I'm concerned to see what's going on at the top of the league. What do you boys think? It's a W for Bayern, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think Bayern are going to. I think, as I said before, like a 4-point gap for Bayern is accustomed to like a 15-point gap for most other teams. It's very hard to catch them once they get ahead again. I can't see.
What's really sad is that, with a little more luck for the other clubs, Bayern would have lost these 4 points in the last 2 games. They hit the cross. Freiburg hit the crossbar. Augsburg hit the post. A little bit more lucky for these minor clubs, and we would have Bayern with 35 points, Leipzig 35 points, and Leverkusen 32, being a little bit on behind the runner-up, but 4 points away.
They always do get that luck.
Yeah,
that's what champions get lucky, don't they?
And they score the last-minute winners just because they believe it until the last second of the game.
Yeah, which is what makes them superior to everyone else. Let's get some fixtures up. So tonight, what a game! Gladbach versus Dortmund at 7:30. That game is going to be live on BT Sport. It's a craziness game. I'm looking forward to that. Tomorrow afternoon's games look like this. We've got Bayer Leverkusen at home to Wolfsburg. That's going to be a 2-2 draw. That joke will wear off, but until it does, it's just what I like doing right now. Freiburg, they have got Stuttgart. Stuttgart will be looking to bounce back, especially with their lovely away form. Mainz, a
little derby game, Freiburg against Stuttgart.
It is actually, isn't it? It's a bit of a
very good game.
Stuttgart is not seeing it like this because for Stuttgart the biggest rival is Karlsruhe.
Yes.
But the main point is that in Baden-Württemberg, where both clubs, so this is the state where both clubs are located, you have Baden, which is where Freiburg and Karlsruhe is, and you have Schwaben, the region of Schwaben, where Stuttgart is. And Baden and Schwaben are always fighting against each other. So basically this match is Baden against Schwaben, so it is kind of a derby match. It's more a derby match for Freiburg than for Stuttgart, regarding the history, because historically Karlsruhe is the enemy for Stuttgart, but no one's want to lose that.
Karlsruhe always remind me of Thomas Hessler, absolute legend. I love him. I absolutely loved him as a player as well. Love him as a man. Not that I've actually physically met him, but you know what I mean. Mainz, they host RB Leipzig. Augsburg, they host Union Berlin. Whereas last season, that would have been like a middle of the table game. Whereas not anymore. And Bielefeld, big game for them against Frankfurt. So they're the Saturday afternoon games. The Saturday 5:30 game is Hertha Berlin versus Werder Bremen.
Big game.
That 6-pointer.
Mm.
Absolute 6-pointer. Sunday.
Oh.
We're not even going to talk about that. Hoffenheim versus Cologne.
Big
But that's
game.
also a 6-pointer.
Yeah.
That is a 6-pointer. Yeah, so the game I said I'm going to mention. Schalke, they entertained Bayern Munich. That was an 8-0 victory on the opening day of the season, this season of the 2021 season. So that Lewandowski on fire, scoring goals. If he doesn't score a double hat-trick, he is officially a stat padder and he's a dead striker.
I might
I
put a
remember
pound on Schalke to win and Hoppe to score. I want to know what my odds will be.
I remember the first match, the 8-0. I had a couple of friends over here, so 2 or 3 guys. And we said, okay, let's watch the match. I got a new TV, brand new TV, bigger TV. And we say, okay, let's have a shot for every goal. We got so hammered. The second half, it was just bang, bang, bang. Oh.
I love a football and drinking game. Before we go, a football and drinking game. I discovered my first one. It was when Arsenal got tonked by Man United 8-2. It was the Francis Coquelin drinking game, and because he made his debut that day, so it was like, well, you know, every time we get to touch, we'll have to drink 2 fingers of beer. Like, so like, as you hold your can, just like sip 2 fingers. I was mush up. He was well involved. He was well involved in that game, and then he went off. I was like, oh, I can sober up a little bit now. But then I weren't sober because I saw Arsenal ship 5 more goals. Awful stuff. Klaus Morosi was watching the show. He says, says Dortmund are the most pointless and useless football club ever. Savage. Adam Deering says, what's up, fellas? Adam Deering, it's his birthday today, and that's why I was slightly late to the show because I was on the phone to him. So big up yourself, Adam. It's all good.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Then Jay Spurs, I knew Wirtz was the real deal. Oi, we know that completely. And obviously Buck, who I'll be doing a watch along with on Monday for Tottenham versus. They're going to be playing away to who they got. Wickham in the FA Cup. So we're going to be doing a watch along for that as well. And before we run as well, Chris Collins, or Thermos as I like to call him, he is from the 4 Manx 1 Toffee podcast, and he was watching the show but decided to text me instead of commenting on the show. Dude, I know you're watching on YouTube, so please like the video and please comment on the video because it helps us. But he says he loved your comment, by the way, Flo, with about Sat Sober and the fact that he pisses ice cubes. Brilliant stuff. He is so cool, calm and collected.
That's basically a German idiom just briefly translated to English, you know?
No, we love it, and we love all of them that come along. Honestly, they're so good. We love it. You can subscribe to our channel. I'm going to do the 2 up top bit first, if that's all right. No, I'm going to do it afterwards. No, I'll do it afterwards. So you can subscribe to Devo and his boys, the Football Dugout channel, which is absolutely brilliant channel, and I feel so rewarded, man, to have him on 2 up top with me at TFB Dugout. Oh, stop it. At TFB Dugout on all social media. You can follow Flo on Instagram because he's too cool for Twitter. Senor _ Laboron. He's got to get a Twitter page. We haven't set up on Twitter before the end of the season. And of course, you can subscribe to 2 Up Top. You can follow us on all social media channels at 2 Up Top Football. And did you know if you put 2 Up Top into Google, our name comes up first? Well, yes, it does. Test it out. Honestly, I dare you to test it out. And then when you do that, just click like and share and subscribe to the channel. But for myself, Gav Mack, from Devo over there, what's good? And from Flozif down there, it's been a pleasure. Thank you and good night.